Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is Melissa and I'm here to lead you through yoga with props. So today for your practice, you'll want to have a chair. I really like using a folding chair just because when we do some of the stretches, it can be nice to kind of lift the chair off of the ground to give you a little bit of a different stretch. So if you have a folding chair, that's awesome. You know, a chair that looks a bit like a folding chair would work as well. And of course, if you have a chair, you know, that has wheels on it, you could definitely use that. It will just, you'll have to modify just a little bit. I'd like to use some weights today. So I grabbed some 5-pound weights. You'll just want to have some hand weights close by. You can always get creative around the house, grab whatever you need. And also a loop band. So one of these resistance loop bands. Again, if you don't have this, that's okay. You can do all of the stretches without it. It'll just be a little different bit of a stretch. And always nice to have the yoga mat. Always nice to have the blocks and the blankets close by as well. So as we practice today, just a reminder to listen to your body. If any of the stretches are not working for you, you can always skip them, comment out and modify. And today we are going to do a really nice full body stretch. So we can just work on releasing tension in the whole body. And I really love the use of the props because it really helps us to get a better and a different stretch. So it also helps a lot with alignment. You know, sometimes if we're not using props, we don't have the proper alignment, we could harm ourselves. But this is really great because we can use the props to hold us in the pose the right way and helps us to get a bit of a deeper stretch and a little bit of a different stretch than if we were not using them. So as we start today, we'll just take a seated position in our chair and we'll just give ourselves a little time to center. So this will be that opportunity to release the day so far. And, you know, whether the day was good or bad or whatever it may have been, just knowing with yoga, you can have that opportunity just to reset and start over in the moment. So let's get started by maybe scooting to the edge of the seat. That will just help you to elongate the spine. And give yourself a moment here to close your eyes. And just gently let yourself connect to your body and your breath here. So we can feel our feet grounded and planted down. Feel your heels in line with your knees. Feel your knees in line with your hips. And feel that the shoulders are over the hips. We just don't want to be leaning forward or back too much. Try to feel your shoulders relaxing from the ears. So create a little space here between the ears and the shoulders. Allow for a neutral chin, back of neck lengthens, reach and stretch through the crown of the head. And then let yourself connect with your breath. So we'll begin to connect to the rise and the fall of the breath. Lengthening as you inhale and lengthening as you exhale. And then maybe encouraging the exhale to be a little bit longer than the inhale. And then setting an intention for your class today. And your intention can be anything. It might be that you want to relax a little bit. It could be that you are holding tension in a particular area of your body and you want to let that go. So let's start taking our chin to our chest. So just allowing for the back of the neck to lengthen here. Take the right ear to the right shoulder. So we're just going to, almost like a pendulum, kind of swings to the right. So we're just going to soften that right ear to the right shoulder. Let yourself come back to center. And then just like that pendulum, we're just going to float it off to the left. So left ear to the left shoulder. And let's just go side to side here. So we're just going to keep the Head just moving in the front and then rocking to the right and rocking to the left. And then as you're doing this, just noticing if there's tension in the neck, if there's muscles that are a bit tight. And then create a full circle here. So begin to roll your head to the back. Try to open up that throat and release forward. And release. We'll flow in the other direction. And then coming back to center, let's take a moment here to realign. Bring the hands up and overhead. Let's take our right hand and reach for the left wrist. Bring yourself into a full breath to lengthen, and then let's take our hands off towards the right. Try to ground into the left sitting bone and try to lengthen through that whole left side body. Through the arm, through the fingertips. Coming back to center, we'll realign here. Nice full breath to lengthen. Change up the grip in the hands and release to the left. Breathe so deeply. Give that nice stretch to the intercostal muscles, little muscles in between the ribs. And we're going to release. Let's come on up. Standing pose. And as you come on up to stand, let's grab onto that chair. So we can begin to take the chair right to the top of your yoga mat. You can have your chair turned in towards you so that you're able to access the seat. And one thing that's really important is to have the chair firmly pressed into the yoga mat. So you don't want 2 feet on and 2 feet on. It won't be quite stable. And when we do some poses where we're bringing pressure into the hands on the chair, make sure that you're pressing the weight straight down. So we don't want to create a sensation of pressing the chair away because it could slide away. We don't want to get hurt. So just press it straight down and get that nice firm connection. So let's bring our feet in line with our hips. Bring your hands to the sky. Breathe here. You're going to come on down to a fold as you exhale. And as you take your fold, begin to shake it out a little bit. So maybe bend one knee and bend the other knee. And maybe shake out the head here. Maybe relax your head yes and relax your head no. As you find stillness, let's take our hands to the right side stretch in your forward folds. And just trying to get nice and grounded in both of your feet, inside and outside of each foot. Come back to center, hands to the other side. Reaching and stretching through the waist. Lengthening through the side body, the arm, the fingertips. And back to center. Let's take ourselves into our fold. Bend into the knees if needed. Lower the stomach down. Let's lift up through the heart space. Tailbone will lower and crown of the head will lower. And flowing through a cat and a dog stretch for a moment. Lengthen your spine as you inhale. Lengthen your spine as you exhale. As you inhale, feel the shoulders relaxing away from the ears. So create a little bit of space between the ears and the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades moving down your back. And then on the exhale, really rounding the back body. So imagining creating space between the shoulder blades. Let's take ourselves into a neutral spine here. Nice deep bend in your right knee. Let's take our right hand onto the top of our chair. Press your chair away from you. So those front legs are going to lift up, and we are going to take our left hand to the sky. So we're going to take this nice open twist. So on the in breath, feel your spine lengthen. On your out breath, allow for your twist to deepen. Coming back to center, let's take our left hand down, left knee bends, and right hand will open up, and we're going to let that chair lift, so those front little legs lift up, and we're going to move into that nice deep twist here. Maybe take your gaze off the right fingertips and then just noticing if that helps you move a little bit deeper into your spinal twist here. Let's bring ourselves back to center. We will take both of our hands on the top of the chair. Have your legs straight, send your hips back. Let's take a variation of a forward fold. Now let the feet of the chair lift from the mat, those two front feet. And then just press that chair away from you, draw the weight into your heels. Toes are light, and almost this feeling like the toes could lift from the mat. Let's take ourselves back to a forward fold from here. So you can float those hands down onto the chair. Lower your stomach down. Let's lift up through the heart. We're going to come on up to stand. Inhale. Hands on heart. Exhale. Fantastic. Let's try a mini sun salutation A. So we'll sweep our hands to the sky as you breathe in. Fold yourself down as you breathe out. Lower your stomach, lift your heart. Round the spine. Let's come on up to stand. We'll take a nice deep full breath in. Hands at the heart as you exhale. Now let's build on that. We'll try a full sun salutation A. Hands to the sky, breathing in. Folding down, breathing out. Lowering the stomach, lifting the heart. Let's come on back to plank. High push-up pose. And then as you take plank, option to hold this or try for an up dog. So you can gently drop your hips forward, open the chest and the heart space. Down dog, breathe out, hips to the sky. Now in your downward facing dog, let's shake it out a little bit here. So maybe bend one knee and bend the other knee. Let your head relax, yes. Let your head relax now. As you come into stillness here, let's walk our toes to our hands. We're going to float ourselves to a fold. Now trying out a dolphin plank from here. So on dolphin, let's drop down onto our elbows. You can always reach for opposite arms just to make sure the elbows aren't too far from one another. And if it's accessible, maybe you reach those hands to the back of the chair so you have such a nice, strong foundation. So dolphin plank, we are going to walk our feet back and holding this one. So a nice strong plank, but on the forearms, so you can give the wrists a little bit of a break. Now, if this is feeling challenging, bring your knees down onto the mat for support. Tailbone tuck. Create that line from your heels to the crown of the head. Core engages here. So we really want to tuck our tailbone. Find that length and space in your body. Now find a neutral gaze, maybe a space between the forearms, just to allow for length to be found in the back of your neck. We want to crank our head forward or back too much. And just feel yourself connect with your breath here. Let's come on up. We're going to walk it into a forward fold from here. So you can pop right up onto those hands. Lower your stomach, lift up your heart. Come on up. Let's take that mountain. Hands at the heart space. Great. Let's try another one, different variation this time. Hands to the sky, breathe in and fold. Lower your stomach, lift through your heart. Let's come on back into plank. And this plank will be on the hands. So this is our high push-up. You can hold plank. Option to take an up dog. So hips will lower, heart will open. Shoulders relax from your ears. Down dog, breathe out. And let's shake it out in that down dog. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. Relax your head, yes. Relax your head, no. Good. Now let's come on forward and we are going to sit up for a dolphin position. So this one is a little different from that dolphin plank, but a little similar. So we're going to come down onto those elbows. Of course, you can reach for opposite arms to get that nice setup. Ground nice and firmly into the arms and the hands. Toes will walk back and let's try to create a bit of a V shape or a triangle shape with our body. Now, this one is different from the plank because our hips are going to be up to the sky. And sometimes if you walk your feet towards your face a little bit, that's going to tend to give you a bit more calf stretch and hamstring stretch. So you can kind of check in with your body and see what works for you. This is a fantastic shoulder opener, really good for just creating that flexibility, that mobility in the shoulders. Also builds quite a bit of strength, so that can help us with those chaturanga transitions. Wonderful job. Let's walk our toes to our hands. We're going to float ourselves back into a fold. Hands can come right onto your seat. Lower your stomach, lift your heart. Let's come on up. Mountain Shavasana. Hands at heart. Exhale. Great. Let's bring our hands up. Nice full breath in. Folding down. Breathe out. Let's lower the stomach. Lift through the heart. Grounding into the hands. Let's come into plank from here. So we'll float ourselves into a high push-up position. And then as you take plank, knees can always lower if you'd like. Let's try outside plank, Shavasana. Now, right hand will float into the center of your chair, and we'll take our left hand up to the sky. And then really try to feel that top hip rising. So top hip rises, top hand rises. Come on back into plank, high push-up. Left hand plants right in the center of your seat. And we'll take our right hand up, breathing here. And you can always modify. So bottom leg could come down for a little less. And if the wrists were sensitive, you could take a dolphin variation where your forearm presses down. Let's take ourselves back on through into plank. High push-up position. Hips can lower, heart can open, upward facing dog. Let's try to breathe into that really nice low back opening. We're going to press it back to down dog and exhale. And toes to the hands. Let's float ourselves forward to a fold. Lower your stomach, lift your heart. Come on up, we'll rise, breathe in, and hands at heart for a breath out. Good job. Let's try another one, different variation. Hands sweep up and fold. Let's lower the stomach, lift up through the heart, plant the hands, feet come back for plank, high push up. Now, right hand plants in the center of the chair. Let's take that left hand up, side plank. And then little different variation of side plank this time. So let's take our left foot and then hop it about halfway up the yoga mat. Have your left toes pointing off to the left side of the room. And really press into your hand and your back foot. So that's going to try to lift this top hip up. This can help to give us that IT band stretch, that nice band of connective tissue that runs from our knee to our hip. Release into plank, high push-up pose. Left hand plants, right hand rises when you are ready. And maybe see if you can challenge yourself a little bit more. Maybe lift your hips a little higher. Maybe hand reaches and stretches up a little bit higher. And let it go. Let's come on back into plank. High push-up. Hips will lower, heart will open. Up dog. Let's breathe into that nice mid-back bend. And down dog, breathe out. Toes come on forward. Let's bring ourselves into that fold. We will lower the stomach, lift through your heart. And then little round of the spine to come on up. Breathe in. And hands at the heart space for a breath out. Great. Let's take a moment and reach for that resistance band. So we'll do a little work with our loop band. And then for this one, what we'll do, have your loop band around the wrist. You're going to hug your elbows into the sides of your body. And then try to take your hands out to the sides of the room. So we're going to try to actively press the hands out to the sides and then release them in. Good. Now, if you don't have a loop band today, feel free to create this movement without. And then as you're making this movement, create a bit of resistance as you press the hands out to the sides of the room. So maybe imagine that you were pressing into something nice and firm and really try to activate those shoulders and activate your arms. Good. We're going to release that one. And then now let's grab onto that band. So you're just going to take both of your hands to the sides. Let's take our arms up to in line with our shoulders. We're going to have our elbows in line with shoulders, wrists in line with elbows and shoulders as well. Now let's try to pull that band apart. So create that resistance and then release. Float it out to the side. Release. Good. We'll release that one. We can give ourselves a breath here. Bringing the hands inside the band once again. And this time we are going to try to keep our right hand where it is. And then our left arm will create a little bit of a diagonal. So we're just going to take that left hand up at a diagonal, maybe aiming to where the wall and the ceiling come together. Excellent. Now let's try that on the other side. So left hand will stay where it's at, and then right hand creates that diagonal, reaching and stretching out. Good, and release. So let's set that down to the ground. We'll take our hands onto our shoulders. Let's take 3 big shoulder rolls here. Take the elbows up, back and down. Inhale, exhale. One more time, breathe in and out. Good. Let's take our chair. We're going to flip that around so that the seat is actually going to face away from us. And then we can just have the back of the chair so we have a little bit of stability here. So we're going to try to work a bit with our balance. It's always so important to do our balancing poses. That really helps to build strength in the feet and the ankles and the knees and also in the big muscles as well. So on this one, we are rising into our tippy toes and then coming on down. So feel free to take your hands onto your hips if you wanted a bit more challenge, but know that your hands can be on the chair if you wanted a bit of support. Good. Now from here, let's bring it on up onto our tippy toes. Hands on the hips or holding onto your chair. Let's work with our right foot. So we're just going to do a kick up. So heel to our hip and then lower and then coming up. But try to stay up onto the tippy toes of that left foot. See if you can make it a little bit more challenging. Good. Right foot plants. Let's come right up onto the tippy toes of that right foot. Left leg rises. Good. You can come on down. Let's give that a shake out. Shake out the wrists and shake out the legs. So I'd love to work a little bit with the shoulders. We'll build some strength working with our warriors, but also using our weight. So for this one, let's take that chair. We're just going to flip it around so that we can access the seat of the chair. And we will grab our hand weights. And come on to the chair for when we're ready for them, when we need them. Let's bring our hands to the side. Nice full breath in. Come on down to fold. Breathe out. Let's take a moment to lower the stomach, lift up through the heart, grab onto your waist, and take your right foot back. So we're going to bring ourselves into a runner's lunge. So as you take that runner's lunge, just make sure that your left knee and your left ankle are in the same line. So we don't want our knee to come too far forward. Engage your core. Let's come on up. Crescent Warrior. Now, as you take Crescent Warrior, try to be right on the toes of your right foot. So you want the majority of your foot to be lifted and really activate that back leg. So press nice and firmly through the heel and the back of the knee. Curl. Let's take those weights to the shoulders. Let it go and rise on up. Good, and release. Let's take a nice deep full breath here, and we'll open to Warrior 2. So we're just gonna hop those feet open a bit. Now, it can take time for your body to open, but try to take your hips and your shoulders and square them to the right side of the room. But make sure you're keeping an eye on your left knee, because sometimes this knee will come into center too much, and that's not the pressure we want to put on our knee. So try to take your knee in line with your second and third toe. And if that means that you have to be a little bit more diagonal and not quite square, that's okay. We always want to keep a really good eye on that front knee. Let's bring our arms to 90-degree angle here. We're going to do some flies open. So let's take those elbows in line with shoulders, release them down. Great. Wonderful. Weight in that front hand. Let's set it down. Keep that right hand weighted. Let's take reverse Warrior 2 pose. Float your front hand up and back. Keep a deep bend in the front knee. So body's natural tendency is to straighten that front leg a bit. Come on up. Let's bring it to a lateral angle. So arm down to the leg. You can also take your hand down to the chair if you'd like. Weight to your shoulder. Let's press that hand right on up to the sky. And then relax it down. Try to keep the palm face forward. We're going to pulse it up and then come on down. Good. Let's take that weight. We're going to send it back onto our chair. Come on up for Warrior 2. Let's windmill the hands down. We're going to float ourselves to runner's lunge. Come on back into plank. High push up. Lower the hips and open the chest and open the heart. Down dog. Breathe out. Let's take our toes to the hands. We're going to bring it through to our forward fold. Grab onto your weights. Left foot comes back. Runner's lunge. Take that time to set up the legs. If you want less of a stretch, feet are going to come in. More of a stretch, feet are further from one another. Core engages, float it on up. Now for this one, let's take our hands to the sky. We're going to have our palms facing forward and then pull the arms down. Let's bring 90-degree angle on the arms. Hands reach and stretch up and release. Good. Let's release the hands down. Full breath. Warrior 2. Open it up Virabhadrasana Dvi. So on this one, imagine that your feet are magnets and they naturally wanted to pull in towards one another. So they aren't actually going to move, but we do want to create that sensation to really activate the inner legs. This one, let's try to keep our arms straight. We're going to float up into a T position, release the arms down. Good. Let's begin to take that weight in the front hand. We'll set it down. Reverse, float it up and back. And just taking such a deep breath here. So we have all of these little intercostal muscles, giving them a really good stretch with the breath here. Windmill down, arm to the leg, maybe hand onto the seat of your chair. Let's take our weight to our shoulder. We're going to press it on up and come on down. Release. We're going to float that weight down onto our seat. Let's take it up. Warrior two pose. Windmill the hands down. Let's take runner's lunge. Step it back on through into plank. High push-up pose. Hips will lower, heart opens, upward facing dog. Hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Toes come into your chair for a fold. Let's grab onto those weights and we are going to set them down onto the ground. Lower your stomach, lift the heart, round the spine to stand, hands at the heart as you breathe out. So let's try a variation of a dancer pose. I love this variation. It's probably one of my favorite ways to do dancer. So we'll start with our right hand and our right foot. So if you would like a gentler stretch on your shoulder, grab on the outside of your foot. And then if you wanted that deeper shoulder stretch, you can grab on the inside. So you can see what feels right for you. Left hand to the top of your chair. Begin to press the chair away. So we're going to feel those front legs of the chair lifting up and create this sensation of kicking the foot back and up. Ground really firmly in the left foot. So we'll press through the inside, through the outside. And notice your body's natural tendency if you tend to roll in or out. And just feel that sensation of pressing the chair away and then kicking the foot back and up. See how that gives you a little different stretch. We are going to come on out. We can take our right foot down and then ground nice and firmly in that right foot. Left leg rises. Hand onto your chair. Begin to press your chair away when you're ready. Dancer pose brings so many positive benefits to us. So it's really good for strengthening the standing leg. We strengthen all of the muscles through the foot, through the ankle, and through the knee. It's a wonderful psoas hip flexor stretch. Nice quad stretch on the left side. We get a back bend through our low back, mid back, and upper back. And also get that really nice shoulder stretch as well. We are going to release that one. Let's come on out. Feet come a bit wider than the hips. Arms side to side. Let's take it into empty coat sleeve stretch. And release. So we're going to work a little bit with a reclining pigeon on the back. And there's a really nice way to use the chair to give you a little different stretch. So I would love to show you the stretch first, and then I can walk you through it nice and slowly. We'll go nice and slow step by step. So first, create a figure four stretch. So it's just bringing the right leg up and over, finding figure four. Now you can decide where you want to go. You can hang out here, reach for the back of the leg, front of the leg. There's variation where you take both of the arms around both of the legs. If you'd like, and you feel comfortable to kind of play with the balance of the chair, you would just want to make sure that as you start all 4 feet of the chair on the ground, you can begin to press that chair away so that the front 2 feet are lifting up. And then just see how that may give you a bit of a different stretch in your hips. And you would just press this knee away from your face. You could flex your foot, and then you'll breathe here. So let's try that out together. So we'll start by being on our back, and you don't want to be too close to the chair and you don't want to be too far away. So maybe you're about 1.5 feet from the chair. Your butt is about 1.5 feet away from the chair. So we'll start by taking that right leg up and over, and you may hang out here. If the hips are very tight, it might feel very nice just to have the foot on the ground to just gently open up the hips. Maybe reach for the back of your leg, maybe reach for the front of the leg. And then if you wanted to try out that variation where you lift the chair from the ground, you'll just have your foot on the edge of you'll have your foot on the edge of the chair. So I almost put it right into that arch there. And then I play with the idea of pressing the chair away to give me a little bit of a deeper and different stretch. The right leg, you can just feel that knee pressing away from the face. So actively putting your hand into the knee or energetically sending it forward. And you could also flex your right foot. So I'll just help to activate the legs a little bit more, a little differently. And then feel your body breathing here. Maybe feel your navel rise as you inhale and then fall as you exhale. Feel your ribs expanding as you inhale and then contracting as you exhale. And then chest rises on the in-breath, falls on the out-breath. And gently release this stretch. So chair can lower down, and then you can change up your feet here. So we'll bring our left leg up and over to begin. Keeping your foot on the ground if you'd like. Maybe reach for the back of your leg or the front of the leg. Maybe both of the arms are on both of the legs. And then gently pressing that left knee away from your face. Maybe having that foot supported by the chair. This pose is very beneficial for your body. It's such a wonderful release for hip tension and leg tension. It really helps to realign and rebalance the low back. Maybe feeling the stretch and just noticing if the stretch feels very similar on the side of your body to the first side that we worked on. You feel very similar and may feel very different one side to the next side. Let's release this one. Happy baby stretch to come on out. So you can begin to reach for your feet and then flex your feet. Reach through your heels and maybe a little rock to the right and to the left. And then gently releasing that. Let's take ourselves into Shavasana. We can come into a little bit of a relaxing and resting pose. So if you'd like, you could scoot yourself into the chair a little bit and then gently link your lower legs up onto the seat. Now, this can feel very relaxing for your back. So sometimes if we lay flat against the ground, it can kind of pull on the low back a little bit. So this will help to relax the back muscles. And you can take some time here just to close your eyes. This is the most important pose of the yoga practice. It gives us an opportunity to integrate the benefits of the yoga practice into the mind, into the body. Let's take a moment here to deepen the breath. Maybe wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. And just taking this opportunity to notice how you feel. Observe your mind, your body in the moment. Feel your mind relaxed, calm, at ease. Feel your body aligned and balanced. Tension that you came to class with, feeling how that has released with yoga and meditation. Coming onto your side, let's land in a fetal position for a moment. You can roll to the right or the left. Maybe create a pillow with the lower arm, gently support your head, and just feel your body taking the shape of the pose. Coming on up, let's bring ourselves into a seated position. And then sitting in any way that feels comfortable for your body. Hands can come to the heart in prayer, Anjali Mudra. Thanking yourself for practicing yoga today, for doing something so good for your mind, body, and spirit. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining today. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I hope you're feeling a bit more relaxed. I hope your body feels nice and relaxed and calm. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.